Are the Bears still the worst team in football? Sports Talk Chicago here with Jon Zaghloul. We're going to break down the Bears' big win on Sunday, plus explain why the national media needs to shut up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, set up notifications, and hit that like button. That way you don't miss a thing. We have interviews with former Bears players and commentaries on the Bears, Cubs, White Sox, and Chicago Bulls. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports, Facebook Jon Zaghloul. You know, watch old videos, old podcasts, interviews, and read my articles. Head on over to sportstalkchicago.com. I want to start today with this. What's an expert? What are they supposed to know? What are they supposed to do? What's their purpose and their function? They're supposed to know everything. They're supposed to have experience. They're supposed to help us, the common man, understand what's going on. The experts picked the Bears to suck. The experts picked the Bears to be 2-14. A Bleacher Report article said yesterday, 2-14. Yesterday, before the game started, 2-14 Bears. ESPN said they'd be the worst team in football. Former quarterbacks, former players, evaluators, scouts, talent scouts, they all said, worst team in football. Niners fans on this channel said on Friday and Saturday, you're delusional. Trey Lance is great. This is Niners weather. The Niners offense is amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, if they're so amazing, why'd they score only 11 points on Sunday? If Trey Lance is so great, why'd he throw no touchdowns, have a pick, and have less than 200 yards passing? If this was Niners weather, why'd they struggle all game to hold on to the football and move downfield and score? Oh, and experts, if you think you're right, why'd the Bears prove you wrong? If you've been following me since May, before that, when ESPN first came out with their power rankings, you know where I stood on this. ESPN in May, after the draft, said the Bears were the worst team in football. We have been following this narrative for months on end, dispelling it every chance we got. And now, look what happened. Finally, it's game time, and the Bears came to play, and they won. 19-11 over San Francisco on Sunday. Proving everybody wrong. Just so you know, this isn't a fanboy channel. This isn't a fanboy analysis. This is the truth, and that's why you're here. You want the truth. The truth is, the Bears are a much better team than San Francisco, and it was pretty apparent yesterday. We'll get into the details. Justin Fields didn't have the best game. Improved in the second half. Didn't have the best game, though. But the Bears showed why they're the more complete team. Look at how many penalties the 49ers had. 9 for almost 100 yards. Undisciplined. New quarterback, new offense. You bench a quarterback who knows what to do. You bench a quarterback who has a 33-13 record for a rookie. And you claim he's better. Nope, he looked worse yesterday. He looked all over the place. He looked uncomfortable in his own offense. For those of you who said Trey Lance knows what he's doing, he's completed meaningful passes, what was yesterday? Don't give me the weather excuse. Justin Fields played through it too. Every player played through it. Trey Lance did not look good. And the 49ers made a big mistake in benching Jimmy Garoppolo for whatever that was yesterday. And praise to the Bears, and Ryan Pace actually, for not drafting Trey Lance and choosing Justin Fields. Fields didn't necessarily play far better, but I'll tell you what, when the Bears needed him to step up, he did. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Justin Fields' passer rating in the first half was 2.4. He ended the game at 85.7. He rose his passer rating by 80-plus points because of 1 half of play. What did Trey Lance do? What did the Niners do? They threw the game away. Don't get me wrong, the Bears played well. But the Niners threw this one away. Bad. Horrible defense, blown coverages, penalties, no discipline. Bad play from the quarterback position. They lost this game. They gave it away. And for a team that claims that they're going to be near the Super Bowl with Trey Lance, apparently, they're far from it. Maybe ESPN should have said the Niners would be one of the worst teams in football. You know, because they have a new quarterback. They're not the same as last year. They've lost some pieces. Maybe they should have been named one of the worst teams. I mean, you have a new quarterback. You have a rookie, in essence. It still blows my mind. Did the Bears yesterday look like Jacksonville? Did they look like the Jets? Did they look like the Texans? Houston? Nope, they didn't. They played with grit. They played with hustle, intensity, discipline. Not many penalties for the Bears. And they embraced the HITS principle. You could say what you want about the HITS idea. Oh, it's an acronym. It's stupid. It's not professional. It worked. Got Jalen Johnson punching footballs left and right. Eddie Jackson, where's he been for 4 years? He's back making plays. This was a great team win for the Bears. How about Khalil Herbert? Averaging 5 yards per carry. And actually putting up more yards in less carries than David Montgomery. Interestingly enough, Roquan Smith led the team in tackles. Brisker and Gordon made plays. And Justin Fields, when the Bears needed him most, although he struggled in the first half and he'll probably still struggle during the season, he made plays to win late. It was an all-around team effort for the Bears. That's why I ask, how could you possibly say this is the worst team in football? How could you sit back as a quote-unquote expert and say, yep, they're the worst. They're 32 out of 32. Where does that come from? Where does that logic come from? What are you basing it off of? I know they have a new coach, new GM, young quarterback, but really the worst team? Worse than Carolina? Houston, New York? Jacksonville? This was a statement win for the Bears. And look, maybe the rest of this season won't be pretty. And we know that. We expect that. I'm not saying this is going to be a big playoff year now. The Bears won and watch out. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying they will win games. They won't be as bad as people think. This proved it yesterday. They beat the 7th-ranked offense in the NFL in 2021. How? With their defense, the weather conditions, and their offense coming up when they needed them. That's how they won. And we talked about this in the preview. The weather was going to be a factor. Their turnover battle was going to be a big factor. The Bears forced a fumble. They picked off Trey Lance. They scored when they needed to. They reversed field when they needed to, and they won. That's simple. And that's how it should be. So I think we can cut it with the worst team in the NFL narrative, I would hope. Some people will continue to push it for their own reputation. I say nonsense. Saw somebody today defending their 2-14 Bears take on Twitter saying, hey, there's one win. They're only going to get one more, then they'll suck. Where is that coming from? Did you watch the game yesterday? Did you see how well they played as a team, as a unit? I would understand it if they have one great defensive player, the whole team sucks. No, it was a team effort. They won using their entire team, the Bears. They didn't win with one person. It was a team effort that began from the word go. They picked up Justin Fields when he wasn't feeling it in the first and second quarter. And later on, Justin Fields and the Bears offense showed up when they needed it to score and win the game. That's how you have to do it. It reminded me a lot of the 2006 Bears team. Justin Fields did not do great, although he turned it on later. The defense carried the way. Running was there when they needed it, and they won. That's simple. Are they still the worst team in football? That's what I ask you. Were they ever the worst team in football? It's probably a better question. No, they weren't. So all of you who say they're the worst team, explain yesterday. Explain this win. Tell me how you saw the worst team in football in their demeanor, in their effort, in the result, and how they played. You can't. It's a stupid argument. And it's meant to rile people up like me, and I get it. I said that from day one, but why even say it? It's just stupid. It's a waste of everybody's time. It's a lazy take. It's lazy to pick on the Bears or really pick on any team. It's lazy. There was no evidence to justify saying the Bears would be the worst in football. They still had Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace? Maybe so. They didn't, though. They made significant changes. They overhauled the roster. And now they're a different and I would say better team already. They may go 6-11 again. Better team today than they were this time last year. Guaranteed. That's what's important. So just by logic, they're not the worst team in the NFL. Yet I guess some of these experts don't want to use logic. Don't want to talk about it. They're in it for clicks and for headlines, and that's fine. I'm not about that. I'm about the truth. The truth is, this is a better Bears team than people think. That doesn't mean they're going to be a playoff team, doesn't mean they're going to be a Super Bowl winner, but it does mean they may contend for a wild card spot at the end of the year. Why not? If Justin Fields plays in the second half all year long, they have a chance. If the run game and David Montgomery could get going more, they have a chance. If the defense continues to prioritize takeaways like they did, they have a chance. The Bears had 32 takeaways in 2018. They went 12-4. Reverse field a lot, gave Mitch Trubisky a chance to make plays and the offense to move, and they won many games and probably would have been to the Super Bowl. The opportunity is still here today. They could still do it. I love the satisfaction of the Bears just shoving it in everybody's face. Don't you? You're a fan of this team, I'm sure. You're watching. You saw how yesterday's game went. Don't you feel satisfied? I know I do. This is why I say, don't get your information from national people who just don't care about your team or only care about the Buccaneers or wherever Tom Brady's playing or Aaron Rodgers. Come to your local source of people who care about this team and what they bring to the table. They don't care. They don't care about you or this team or anything Chicago related. They care about their paychecks and they care about making sure that they cause controversy instead of, hey, what's the truth of the matter? What's the facts here? The fact is, this Bears team is not bad. They have some fight. They have a new heart. They care. And it shows in the way they play. Everybody who said they'd be the worst team in football should already be apologizing and making amends. They should. It was a stupid prediction. How about the upset, too? How about 49ers fans claiming that Trey Lance is the answer, that Kyle Shanahan's a genius, and that this team is going to be a Super Bowl contender with a rookie quarterback? Do you understand how hard it is to develop a rookie quarterback or a second-year quarterback? Justin Fields had growing pains yesterday. He will have growing pains moving forward. The Bears still won. Fields turned it on when necessary. Trey Lance never did. And then penalties made it even worse. When you sit a quarterback who took you to the Super Bowl for a rookie, you reap what you sow. You're sitting somebody who took you to the Super Bowl, and who just last year took you to the NFC Championship game. You're sitting in for somebody else. What do you expect to happen? Jimmy G beat the Bears last year. I understand the team wasn't the same, but nevertheless, he did it. Less than a year later, the Bears beat the Niners with a different quarterback. I saw a stat today. The Niners and Kyle Shanahan, he's 8-28 when a different quarterback starts other than Jimmy Garoppolo, and yet he was one of the main reasons why Garoppolo is on the bench. How about looking out for your job? We all want the next big thing when sometimes the good thing's right in front of our eyes. Jimmy Garoppolo is good, and the Niners are making a big mistake by benching him for a rookie. Trey Lance is not ready yet. You can say what you want. You can try and convince me with any sort of number you'd like. North Dakota State is essentially a D2 college. Sorry, the truth. Throwing limited amounts of passes at that school, then last year being kind of a back and forth guy where you come in once in a while, you come out, you run here, you do that. It just doesn't help anybody. You need significant experience or more time to sit and learn. But if the Niners want to be a contending team, if they really think they have a Super Bowl roster, put in Jimmy G to win. Don't start Trey Lance. They made a big mistake, and they're going to continue to make this mistake week in and week out when the losses pile up. When the losses pile up, they're going to realize we made a mistake here. And they did yesterday. How about that? ESPN and NFL.com. Why do you rank the Niners ahead of the Bears when they have really a rookie quarterback? Justin Fields may have time to develop and need some fixing, but talk about a real rookie. Talk about a guy who rarely, if ever, played in college, played at the D2 level essentially, and now is expected to be the guy with the Super Bowl roster and the quarterback's the quote-unquote issue. Why do all these experts rank the Bears behind San Francisco? That's the real question of the day. Why'd the bettors say the Bears were 6.5-point underdogs? If you bet and you listen to me, you made some money this weekend too. It's ludicrous. I mean, you could just feel it. You knew it. You knew it. It's all about feel and gut feelings. You knew it. With how much the national media slandered and hurt the Bears, you kind of knew, hey, you know what? Something's not right here. Why is everybody after the Bears? What do they care? Why is this an issue? We knew it. We knew it right away. Everybody did. Don't trust the experts all the time. Sometimes they're right. Everybody who's a self-professed expert or film guru or whatever they might be, they're not always going to be right. Everybody who said they had a brain about football got this one wrong. That is telling. Mike Martz. Remember Mike Martz? What he said about the Bears and Justin Fields and this season? Everybody and their mother has been lining up ready to trash this team. For what reason, I don't know. But regardless, it's wrong. You knew it. If I had to sit down and compare, player by player, the Niners and the Bears, I'd pick the Bears to win, and I did. It was pretty easy to snip that one out. We said it was going to be about turnovers, defense, and quarterbacking. And the whole game, that's what it was about. That's what mattered. Defense, turnovers, quarterbacking. Trey Lance is a novice at everything, at the quarterback position. If we want to count college and the pros, he's a novice. Justin Fields, when it mattered, showed veteran traits already and won the game, partially, in that third and fourth quarter. That's what the difference maker was. I demand everybody who said the Bears were going to be the worst team in football to get down and apologize. You should be ashamed of yourself. You were dead wrong on this. Stop backtracking. Stop saying you didn't say it. Stop saying, hey, they're going to go 2-14. This is win number 1. No, you were wrong. This is not a bad team. This is not as bad a team as people painted them out to be. They know what they're doing. They're growing. They're not going to be a playoff team, but they're not going to be as bad as you think. And it was an insult from the national media, from bettors, from everybody involved to suggest that they were going to get pounced on Sunday. Pounced. The line was plus 6.5. Everybody expected a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. The Bears were going to lose. It was wrong. Do your research. Watch this team. They're not as bad as you think. There's a long way to go. It's just week 1. I don't want to overreact or overdo it. There are going to be weeks in which the Bears are going to stink it up. There are going to be weeks in which Justin Fields probably has 3 or 4 interceptions, and we have to reconcile and see how those happened Whether or not we're seeing improvement, that's what matters. There are going to be weeks in which the Bears win, like this one. It's going to be a season of ups and downs, for sure. And that's okay. But they're not the worst team in football. Yesterday proved it, and I'm so proud of what they put together. All of you should be proud of what they did, too. Thanks for watching today's show on BPod TV, Jet TV, YouTube, and Roku. Really appreciate the time. Remember, you can follow me, Twitter and Instagram, Jon Z Sports, Facebook, Jon Zaghloul. If you want to watch many more of my shows, head on over to sportstalkchicago.com. So long, everyone.